G'day, back with Dan. Actually, it's only been 10 minutes. I went away and came back. Dan, a couple more questions for you. What advice, or firstly, what hurdles did you experience as a young organic / biodynamic farmer getting into the farming game? Is there any hurdles you can tell people about that they may want to avoid or think about, or just a bit of a heads up?
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned before, I've built 5 farms and I've lost them, that's the process of any entrepreneur. I think of any building anything of real value and meaning is you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have to learn to live with those. So the first one that really came down to was an unrealistic expectation that I set together with investors that I worked with, of what their return would be. I would go through year after year of making the farm work, succeeding, getting through the season, paying myself enough to eat, and then living on the farm as rent, or living on a farm funded apartment as rent, but like hardly any pay for myself. And then to have people be like, yes, but can we get more money out of you because you're making this farm work now, like it seems successful. Let's, like, a lot of people try to cash in on what you're doing right as a farmer, and they so that was a big hurdle for me, really.
So getting partnerships right, expectations,
partnerships, and really
communication.
like in communication, incredibly so. I mean, I reinvented the wheel for myself, which was an awesome thing, because I think that I learned to be and do what I do through not playing by the rules. But I made it a lot harder for myself by doing that, and I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. I would recommend like thinking of these things up front, really trying to, I think, and it's not for one farmer to do, this is for multiple farmers to do, to create a handbook of really what are the common hurdles for farmers. Landowners need to understand that, investors need to understand that, and everybody needs to be in the game with the farmer. Another thing that my farm is a CSA, community supported agriculture, and that has been one of the greatest benefits of my farm. Shout out to all my members out there that have
share this. Tell
CSA.com.
Tell the world about him.
Yeah, I mean, my membership every year has been what has built my farm and has sustained my business. However, a lot of people cash in on that. There's Blue Plate, there's or Blue Apron, and HelloFresh, and all these companies that are calling themselves CSAs. They're making people feel great about supporting a farmer, and they're undercutting farmers. They're cutting short CSAs. They're putting farmers in debt because farmers have to borrow money rather than be community funded. So let me just get right to that for anybody viewing this. The most important thing you can do, and it's wonderful to go to as many farmers markets as possible, but the CSA should not go out of style, and that's at risk of happening. I just was walking across the street from this farm, and I saw they have the UPS over there, and I saw them packing 500 Amazon Fresh boxes.
I was going to say
that's
Amazon.
my competition,
and
like it's like it's the same people that are getting these huge conglomerates. They're trying to cash in, and they're trying to undercut farmers. They're trying to take livelihood away from farmers, and we know that this nation has gone from roughly about 30% farming population to about 2%. And that's been replaced by massive machine agriculture, monocrops, depletion of soil, and a food that is not nourishing people. And it's not supporting thinking. It's not supporting freedom in the individual, and it's not supporting intuition for what the way is forward for us as a massive human community right now. What are the solutions we need to find? So that's one big hurdle. And another one that I would say is that we need to, and it kind of plugs into that, we need to get outside of competitive thinking, farmer to farmer. I have other CSAs in my area. I have other friends of mine who are farmers in the area. And one thing that we're doing right now in upstate New York is we're figuring how can we sell together, not against each other. How can we use the same trucks to get our stuff around? How can we get together and ask for the price we need for the food, so that if somebody like Amazon is approaching us, we can say, I'm sorry, I know that you think it should cost this, so that you can meet your capitalist margins, but at the same time, like the cost of production is, we're so far from that. Even when we are succeeding as a farm, the cost of that production and the cost of farmers living a happy, healthy livelihood is we're not there. So I think that as farmers, the best piece of advice I can give is never see another farmer who is doing the same thing as you as a competition. See them as your friend, and ask how you can work together. How can you make them succeed, and how can they help you succeed? Because we got a lot of people to feed. It's not like, and the notion of competition is that there's this small niche market that we're supplying, but that's because we're not working together to get out of that niche and to be the supply. And if we're gonna spread biodynamic farming as a global predominant organic agricultural method, we need to be the supply, and we need to give the price of that, the cost of rebuilding our soils for our planet, of sequestering carbon into the soil for our planet. And it's something that consumers need to do together with farmers. Farmers need to do together with each other, and the marketplace needs to reflect that value.